afternoon, everybody. It's 1 o'clock, it's Wednesday. This is Jill. Thank you for joining me. I have been doing a color series all month here in the group, and I'm basically just going over the various colors that are on my palette, and I'm focusing mostly on reds, blues, yellows, and greens. And so today we are doing the yellows. And so if you have missed any of the other episodes, it's totally fine. The replays are here in the group under the videos tab. Okay, so if you're new to Facebook or new to group life on Facebook or that type of thing, any of these live videos that I'm doing here in the group, you're going to be able to find them again in the videos section. Okay, so if you've got questions about that, you can let me know. And hey, Judith, come on in. So what I've been doing as well, after I finish, with one part of the series, you guys are getting to see it live here in the group. It's private, it's just exclusive for you, and it gives you an opportunity to interact with me, ask questions, that type of thing. I like to do a little Q&A at the end of each one of these sessions. And then at the end of each session, I'm actually uploading it later after the fact to my YouTube channel. Okay, so if any of you are out there and are looking for some additional free instructional content, I do have some things over on my YouTube channel. I definitely invite you to go over there, subscribe, check that out, and find some some other things that might be interesting for you over there. There's some good stuff over there that I feel like will help you out. So there's two ways to actually catch the replay. So right here in the group and also over on YouTube. But you get first dibs on the live. So you're here with me, and you get to join in with that each time that we're here. So today I'm going to be getting into my yellows on my palette, but before we do, I wanted to just take a couple of minutes just to sort of give you a little bit of preview, sneak peek, some information, whatever you want to call it, about some things that are coming up for next month. So July is World Watercolor Month as established by Doodle Wash. Okay, so if many of you, I know you're out there and you've probably subscribed to the Doodle Wash newsletter and keep up with what they've got going on over there. They host World Watercolor Month, and among other things. But every July they invite everybody to sort of participate in a 31-day challenge. And I would like to invite everybody here to just personally accept the challenge of trying to paint 31 paintings in 31 days for the month of July. Okay, so we're going to kind of be doing that here in the group, and there won't be a demo each week for the month of July. I do have one demo that I'm going to do, which I'll come back to that in just a second. But for the month of July, I would love to see lots of activity in the group and everybody sharing. I'm going to be painting every day for the month of July, and I definitely encourage you to do it as well. It would be fun to share what everybody's doing, and I'm going to leave it open to everybody. You can paint whatever you want to. This is a landscape group, but sometimes when I'm doing a 31-day challenge or a month-long challenge, I will often mix it up, and sometimes I'll do a still life, sometimes I'll do a portrait, sometimes I will do a landscape, sometimes I might do an abstract. It just kind of depends on whatever strikes my mood on that particular day. So I will leave it open. And one of the things that I have done in the past for painting challenges that we've done here in the group, I will create a little prompt that gives you something to, a sort of a thing to focus on each day, a little topic or theme to focus on each day. And for some people, they find that very useful, because if you're just sort of drawing a blank and you don't really know what you want to paint that day, going to the prompt would sometimes help you figure out exactly what you want to do. And some people like to just kind of have a list, and they don't have to think about it, and they can just check off, and that's what they do. With the prompts, I usually will make that completely landscape based, so one day might be sand, one day might be clouds, one day might be grass, that type of thing, and just go through a list of 31 things on that and share here in the group. So I'll put that out there too. You do not have to subscribe to that. You can do whatever you want, but I think for some people it's kind of helpful. And another thing that I'm going to be doing during the challenge, anytime I do a challenge, for me personally, I enjoy using like a sketchbook, a watercolor sketchbook, or some type of notebook, to do my paintings in. And so over the 31 days, you just sort of develop a little collection of paintings. And like this was one from a long time ago, but you can see I did a still life one day, and then I did a little landscape the next day. Another little still life, another landscape. I just kind of mixed it up and just sort of did whatever kind of felt right for me to do that day. The main thing is to stay focused, to stay productive, and it's not a contest to see who has the best painting. It's really just about you practicing and developing and growing and getting, flexing that sort of that productivity muscle a little bit too. So it really helps, and we can encourage each other all month doing that. So 31 paintings in 31 days starting on July the 1st. Okay, I'll share some more information about it later in the week, or actually next week, as well as putting a prompt out there so you guys can start kind of focusing on that. So another thing that I posted here in the group about 30 minutes ago before our session started today, and I wanted to, we've got a lot of new people in the community here, and so I wanted to let everybody know that I do offer, free content here in this group, and I love connecting with you, getting to meet you, having an opportunity for you to share your work and that type of thing, all the landscapes, all the watercolor landscapes that you're doing. And I also have a paid membership. Okay, so I do meet with paid members on a weekly basis, and I paint live with my members over on YouTube. It's a private channel, or a private link that you have, and we paint every week. And in fact, I posted a picture. This was the painting that we did today. Okay, so we paint on Wednesdays, and what I have my members do, I actually do the painting with you live, and we go step by step, and I give you lots of discussion about how to do the painting. I walk through it step by step. We spend some time looking at our photo reference and talking about the photo reference and getting an understanding of how to approach the painting, and doing problem solving and making considerations about colors and values and several different things like that. And then we actually just begin the process of jumping right into the painting, and then we complete a painting in about an hour every Wednesday. And we've been doing this for months and months now, and so I'm very hopeful that many of you will be interested in it. It's very affordable. It's $1 a day, and less than $1 a day for the whole year, and you get to paint with me live every week. And we do have our own private group where we can post our finished work, and I can offer feedback when you ask me about it. We've got lots of different things. And once you're a member, you also have access to all of the previous sessions that were done before you ever became a member. So it's actually pretty good. It's absolutely chock full of instruction, very good quality instruction, full length demos with very complex subjects, and we break things down and really dig into it and have a lot of fun. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to share a link here in the group at the end of today's session, so that you guys can go take a look at it and find out if it's something that you might be interested in. There's no time, there's like no deadline to join. It's just you jump in any time in the year that you want, and your membership lasts 12 months from that start date, and you still have access to all the things that were there before you even got there. So it's actually pretty good. So let's jump into our yellows today. Okay, I actually only have 2 yellows on my palette. Okay, on my daily palette. I do have other yellows in my watercolor box that I will tap into sometimes, but I have just 2 on my palette. And I'm also going to include an orange today when I do my demo. Orange is orange, but it does have some yellow tendencies. Yellow is used to make orange, obviously, and the orange that I use is really very much in the yellow family. It's more leans toward the yellow end of the side of the spectrum than toward the red. And so I'm going to kind of lump that in with my yellows today, and so kind of show you what they do, and tell you why I use them and what I feel like are their best properties. Okay, before we get started, I'm going to just kind of look through here and make sure I didn't have any questions from anybody. I might have had a question just a second ago, and it popped up and then it was gone again before I could actually take a look. But okay, I think we're good. So for all of you that are there, thank you for attending. It feels so good to know that I'm actually just not looking at the camera, but I know that you're out there and you're hearing and seeing me on the other side. So, all right, I'm going to flip my camera around so that I can show you the work area. And let's take a look at these yellows today. All right, so let me make a quick adjustment here. I'm going to flip this around. And let me do one more thing too. Oops. Oh, let's see. Let me close out of that. I'm so sorry. I'm making just a slight adjustment. There we go, because I could tell that my camera was showing you a backward picture. All right, so I'm going to get this down here, get things straightened up for you out there. All right. All right, so let's take a look and see what we got here. These are my three yellows, or my two yellows actually. I'm using a Cadmium Yellow by Daniel Smith, and I'm also using a Quinacridone Gold by Daniel Smith. And this is the orange that I was talking about. This is Permanent Orange by Daniel Smith. One of my very favorites, and I'll get into why that's the case here in just a second. But let's take a look at each of these colors, and let me sort of kind of show you what they do and why I like them so much. All right, so Cadmium Yellow is pretty much a staple on any painter's palette. Cadmium Yellow is the quintessential yellow. It gives you that beautiful, vibrant, it's just that yellow that everybody thinks of. When you start thinking about yellow, it's just really, really intense. And Cad Yellow also has a little bit of, oh, I just realized that I didn't have my microphone on. Cad Yellow also has a little bit of, some opacity to it. I mean, it is a transparent watercolor, but it has some nice coverage, capability. Very vibrant, very, very beautiful tone. All right, so when I want to come in and sort of thin out my cadmium, it really likes to move and give me a nice gradient and just that beautiful color. Okay, yellows are primarily going to be used, I know for my part, and for landscape painting in particular. We're talking about sunsets, we're talking about light, the effects of light, backlit trees, backlit objects, subjects in our landscape. Also just pretty much anything that glows. We want to be able to have those beautiful light tones that communicate that warmth and all that glow, and yellow is really what's going to do that for us. So my second color that I have here for you is Quinacridone Gold, and it almost looks orange, okay? And you can't be fooled by it though, especially when you're painting. It's easy to kind of mistake it for an orange, but it really is a yellow, and you'll learn quick if you've used Quinacridone Gold and maybe you weren't really paying attention and you just thought, oh, well, that's kind of orange. I want to add a little blue to kind of tone it down a little bit. Well, you'll immediately get green, okay, because it is yellow and it will remind you as soon as you add blue to it. But the Quin Gold, it's got that quinacridone. Okay, we talked about that last week and the week before. That quinacridone is Daniel Smith uses it. It is an optical brightener, and it really just adds a lot of vivid tone. All right, now here's one of the things that I like so much about Quin Gold. I'm going to hold it up just so you can see it. Quin Gold in particular, it's got a russet tone, but when you add a little bit of water to it and you start to thin it out, it begins to separate and merge, and you have almost what appears to be just a hint of Cad Yellow sort of popping out of it and just sort of coming out of it. It'll just expand and move into the water that's next to it. You can just put little drops of it and it'll take off and move with these beautiful yellow halos. It's absolutely wonderful. Such a perfect color to try to capture anything that's glowing. Okay, the effects of sunlight, candlelight, what have you. It's really, really good for that. All right, and so here's my orange. Now this is Permanent Orange by Daniel Smith, and kind of like my Winsor red, it's that quintessential red that you expect. And this is, the orange is really, really orange. It is like that pumpkin orange. It's not fluorescent, and it doesn't have an optical brightener. It doesn't have the quinacridone, but it's just that beautiful, vivid, pumpkin orange. And so you can see it sort of kind of is in this family with the Quin Gold. It's just got that soft glowing tone, but it stays orange, and it's just a nice vivid tone. It's out of all the oranges that I've tried, I really do think that this one is one of the most vivid and true orange tones, and I really, really love it. It looks really natural. Let's see, hold on just one second. I want to get my let me get my own video up here in front of me, just so that I can see it, and that way if anybody does have questions while we're going, I can answer you. Oh, I do have lots of comments. Okay, I'm going to get back into that in just a little bit. All right, so when you're looking at the orange and the Quin Gold together, I'm looking at them on my screen, and they are almost showing as sort of the same color tone, but they are different. I'm going to take pictures of these, but this one is definitely it's a little darker value and a little bit warmer, but the orange is really that pumpkin orange color. It's really beautiful. So with these three, I like to use them to just create a whole variety of tones that that indicate my light, that indicate anything that's glowing, whether it's sunlight, candlelight, backlit scenes, anything like that. And so even though that the orange, I'm kind of just adding that into my yellow, but I just thought, I'm just kind of doing this on the fly. I'm going to take these little dividers out because I don't want to do three separate things. I just sort of envisioned a way to use all three of these colors at one time to just do a little demo. I thought, let's just do a candlelight demo real quick, and it'll kind of help you see, what these colors are capable of. All right, so I don't really have a candle in front of me. I'm just going to do like a little, like one of those little short votive candles or something. Like one of those little round ones, that looks like a little sphere. Let's see. I'm just kind of sketching lightly, a little wick in there. And, oh, you know what? I'm going to use there we go. How about that? We got a little candle there. Let me hold this up so you can see. All right, so there's my little candle. So I just kind of sketched out a little candle right quick. So let's do some candlelight with these three colors, just so you can kind of see what's possible with just these three colors. I might add a third color in there, but let's just kind of jump in there and see what we get. So, anytime you're painting, with glowing light especially, and, watercolor just as a medium, sort of by default, you're going to be painting from your lightest tones down, starting with anything that's light and working your way toward the dark, And so I'm kind of doing that here. I'm going to let the flame just be the white of my paper. I'm just kind of almost playing here, but really getting a little glow started here for this little candle. All right, so I'm going to start out with a little bit of my cad yellow, and let's just get a little glow in here. And then I'm going to get a little bit darker by getting into my Quin Gold. And I got my little candle here. I'm just going to, like I said, I don't really have a game plan. I'm just sort of going with the flow here. Alright, so I'm going to do some more of this. I'm going to get darker with my Quin Gold. And you can already start to see just that little, see how it just lets you it just glows. These two colors together just create so much light and drama. It's really kind of crazy. I love using these two together. They do so much. And you can just see that white flame almost just looks hot already. We haven't really done anything yet, but now I'm going to get into a little bit of my Quin Sienna for this. I had used it not yesterday, I used it last week for my reds demo because I do use Quin Sienna like a red. But I'm going to kind of throw some of that in here today. I'm going to jump into my orange now. Jumping right into the orange. And then I'm going to get into my Quin Sienna here. You know, the farther away we're getting from our light source, it's going to start getting dark, of course. Just a little Quin Sienna, just straight. I haven't added anything to it. But you can really, really just start to see how much that really wants to glow. I'm going to get a little bit of my purple. I'm going to get a little bit of my purple and put that in with my Quin Sienna. Get right out here on the edges. So I'm adding a few more colors than just my yellows, but it kind of just, should help give you just sort of a little, just a little taste of, you know, the different ways that you can use these colors to really create these glowing effects. Yellow is just the star of the show when it comes to these types of things. So let's see, I'm going to get some more of my Quin Gold. Get in here. And I think I'm really wanting to add some details in the top of my little candle. Just kind of playing here, making sure, you know, that I keep that flame really nice and white. I don't want anything else to get in there. It's the brightest thing. See how it just looks so hot and bright just by letting that yellow do its job. Yellow is just, we just about have to have it when we're starting to work with light. I'm going to just do a little bit of drying right here just so I can do some details right on the top of my candle, because it'll make it stand out a little bit more. So you can mute your thing if you need to. So let's jump back into this little candle. I'm just going to add a few little details here to just try to give this little candle, give this little guy some form here. So if you enjoy painting candles especially, or want to experiment with it, I do have a great candle light demo over on my YouTube channel. It's a lot of fun to do, so you could try to, give that a shot sometime, anytime you want to. So the key with any of these, is just really keeping those yellows nice and vivid. It makes such a difference, when you're working with these in anything, in any light situation, but it really makes such a difference when you use a good quality yellow that's going to give you plenty of coverage and lots of brilliance. You want to make sure you're using good quality pigments and paper anytime that you're working. You're definitely going to get your best results that way, but definitely make sure you're getting the good stuff. Okay, I don't know that I'll go too much further than that. That was just, I just kind of wanted to just play a little bit right there. You can kind of just get lost in it and start painting. Just take off and start painting a painting. Yeah, so always fun to do these. They never get old. I'm just making like a little wick right here, just a little tiny wick. All right, so you could just like keep on going for days on this and continuing to build on it. But I just want to show you, the power of yellow and using good quality yellows that have got lots and lots of pigment. Okay, if the cheaper your watercolors, the less pigment, the less strength you have in the color quality. So even with yellow as being one of the lightest values in the tube, if you get one that's not a good quality product, it's just not going to yield you the results that you want. But yellows are definitely going to give you that glow that you want. I'm going to hold this up a little bit closer because you can start to see some variation in the pigments here. For whatever reason, this orange is just not showing up. The orange almost looks identical to the Quin Gold when I'm seeing it up on the screen, but this orange is very, very orange. I mean, it is like pumpkin orange. So I'll definitely share a photo of that with you so that you can take a look at it. But very fun, and you can even follow along with this little short demo for a candle. But I do have a really good one over there on YouTube if you want to take a look at it. I'm going to turn the camera back around and see if I've got any questions. Let's see. Oh no, here we go. Awesome. Okay. You can see every time you flip the camera, there we go. So now I'm going the right way. All right. So let me look real quick just to see if I had some comments or questions. We'll have a little Q&A right here. Let's see. There's lots of folks out there. Welcome, all of you. Let's see. Shelly says, I found you. Glad to be here. I'm glad you're here too, Shelly. Thank you so much for coming in. I enjoy you being here. It's fantastic. Joan. Well, thanks, Joan. Kind of unrelated, but going the wrong way. There's my bookcase that I built this past week, and it's installed now and holding my books, and I feel really good about it. We're enjoying that. Cheryl is saying there are so many cad yellow variations, pale, medium, kind of confusing. Do you recommend just sticking with pure cadmium yellow? Fantastic question. All right, so cadmium yellow, I tend to use like the medium. Okay, the medium is really that sort of just kind of that deep lemon yellow kind of color that we automatically associate, and it's really vivid. But if I do need to tone it down, I can always tone it down. I've kind of talked about that in some of my other videos. I really like to keep my colors really vivid, so that if I need them to be vivid, they're ready to go. I can always, I can always tone them down. Now the pale, it's it is, I mean, just like the word says, it's pale. It's just a much lighter concentration, or a lighter value of yellow. And so it kind of depends on your painting style. Okay, so for those of you who kind of stay in more of a pastel realm, the pale is probably going to work better for you, because it doesn't have that striking, vivid, brilliant tone. It's much, much softer. Okay, and then the deep, it's almost bordering on like like a gamboge. It's sort of a it's not as dark as yellow ochre. Okay, it's not earthy like that, but it is just a really deep, bordering on a yellow orange type of color. So it's really kind of just goes with your painting style, your painting preferences. I use the medium because it's that really brilliant yellow that I can I've got some flexibility there. I can do whatever I want to with it. And then, just as a side note, cadmium, is a component of lots of pigments, and has been historically for decades. But cadmium is a toxic component, and so modern day cadmium colors are typically going to have a synthetic version of the cadmium. They are not as brilliant. I've actually got a couple of tubes of like a cadmium red and some other cadmium in my box back here, and they're the real deal. They're like really old. They're like 30-year-old tubes of paint. And the cadmium is absolutely stunning. It is toxic. Okay, so there may be, you guys can correct me, especially for oil painters, I do think you can still get cadmium, in oil color, but you do have to be careful in the way that you use it. But it does have, that cadmium has such a brilliance to it. But I use the Daniel Smith. They're using a more synthetic component for their CAD colors, and so and I need to check. Daniel Smith might actually have a cadmium color that they're using cadmium, but I'm not quite sure. But I can look into that. Let's see. Somebody else had another question. Let's see. Okay, so Elizabeth is asking, or said, Quin Gold is now nickel azo yellow, and Quin burnt orange. Could two yellows on one's daily palette? Well, here's a thought. Now, the Quinacridone Gold, as far as I know, because I'm still buying Quinacridone Gold from Daniel Smith, and so I'm not sure if you're talking about Quin Gold with Winsor Newton or Daniel Smith. Now, the Quinacridone Gold that Daniel Smith makes, they actually had, there was an article written about this, and whatever materials they were using to create their Quinacridone Gold, they were running out of it and were going to be formulating a new Quinacridone Gold, which they titled New Quinacridone Gold. And I've not bought any of the new. I'm still buying Quinacridone Gold when I find it. So I do know that there is some kind of thing about there, and so I don't know if Quin Gold is now calling it nickel azo. I wasn't aware of that. So that's good to know. But if any of you find a tube of Quin Gold, buy it, because it was sort of a finite source of whatever those components are that they were using to make it. So I buy it anytime I see it. I grab some. But you can have both of those on your palette. You could absolutely have both. Let's see. The Quin burnt orange. I've not actually seen the Quin burnt orange, but I can only imagine that it's gorgeous. So, but you can definitely put those on there too. Totally up to you. This is just kind of what I'm using. Joan is saying, do you tone down your cad yellow with violet complement, or do you have a different trick that does not dull? Very good question, Joan. So I do add violet to my cadmium, to get it down to a muted tone, especially for like straw colors. In fact, we did some of that today in the little dirt road. This was the painting that we did in my paid group today, and that was the kind of the mixture, the color combination that we added. Now I will add some other components in there to add some, to maintain some vivid tone. And a lot of times it's going to be one of the Quin colors, either the Quinjello or the Quin Sienna. It just depends on that, but I will kind of incorporate that a little bit along with the violet, just to to kind of maintain some brilliance to the tone. Let's see, Elizabeth is saying Quin Gold Daniel Smith online, they are showing two pigments I mentioned. Okay, it's I guess they have officially, they're out of it, or whatever they said was going to happen. It's not discontinued, they had run out of it, but they were calling it new Quin Gold for a while, because I actually have a tube of it. So I guess they've changed the name again, because maybe that was confusing for people, I'm not sure. But it will be a sad day when there's absolutely no more Quin Gold on the planet. So I'll have to start kind of experimenting and looking for some options there to make sure. The main feature with that is that the way that pigment will separate, and the golden part, the amber sort of sienna component of that color, likes to hold onto the paper, but then when the moisture is there, that yellow will continue to move out beyond that color, creating a halo effect. Okay, we just kind of refer to that as like dispersion. So it has a beautiful dispersion. So that's the main thing. So we'll need to experiment with some more colors and find something that's going to be a good substitute for the Quin Gold. I know for myself anyway, for the future. So this, I can hold this up. It's dry enough for me to hold it up, I think, without the colors running. You can just kind of take a look, but you can see the little candle. This was just a real quick and dirty little just kind of impromptu thing, but you can see just how those yellows really go together to give you that nice glow. You just about got to have them, and keeping them really clean, keeping them really saturated, and just making sure that you've got a good quality pigment is really, really key. Each of the yellows that I use are really warm too. There are cool yellows. In fact, lemon yellow and Windsor yellow are both cool yellows, just meaning they kind of lean toward green a little bit, so that they want to. They almost have just sort of a neon kind of, I don't know, yellow green sort of little tint to them. They're very yellow, okay, but when you start adding blues to them, you'll really start to see that brilliant, almost permanent green light shades start to form out of both of those colors. They're really nice too. So again, it depends on your preferences. My color palette tends to be more on the warm side, and so that's just sort of the direction I go. But everybody's got their own tastes and different things that they like to use. So experiment with whatever it is that you have on your palette, and use the little the little color sample card video that I shared with everybody. It's over there on YouTube as well. You can do a search for it, and I've also got it linked here in the group. But it gives you a great way to take just one little sheet of paper and really put one of your colors through several different variations, different ways of using the color, so that you can really experiment with it and see what it's going to do in a lot of different scenarios, all on one little card. And it's just nice to have that, have several of them worked up, and then you've got like a little library of what your colors are going to do. So I look forward to you sharing with me what you might have. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was informative. Definitely experiment with your yellows and just see what they do. Sometimes experimenting is when you find out about dispersion and those different types of things, because you might have a color that looks a certain way out of the tube, but once you allow it to start flowing through some water, you might have some color shifts and changes where the color separates. It might granulate, it might have a really strong dispersion. it may do all kinds of things. So that's the thing that you want to do, is to experiment and see what you've got. So just real quick, I'm going to look. We've gone over just a little bit. Let's see. Oh, Tanya was asking, is Hansa a cool yellow? Well, I'll be honest with you, Tanya. It's been a while. I have used Hansa before, but it's been years, and I honestly don't remember. Might have to take a look at it, or you might have to Google that. I don't have any of that on hand to be able to tell you one way or the other. But now I'm definitely going to go check out the Quin Gold and make sure what's going on with it, and make sure maybe I can try to find some somewhere. So if through all of this, if there are colors that you've been interested in and you've been thinking about getting some new supplies, that type of thing, I am now a Blick affiliate, and so if you ordinarily shop at Blick, I highly invite you to use my affiliate link to go shop just like you normally would, and it just helps me out just a little bit anytime that you shop there using one of my links. I shop from Blick pretty much exclusively. They always have what I want, always have what I need, always have what I'm looking for. And so if you shop there anyway, I'd love to share the link with you, and you can go and shop just like you normally would, and it definitely helps me out. So I think that's all I've got for today on the yellows. So don't forget, we got World Watercolor Month coming up next month. So grab a sketchbook, grab, several sheets of paper, so that you can kind of keep together 31 little paintings. And I will be doing a demo, a live demo of an abstract painting, full length. It's probably going to go about an hour. I'm going to be doing that on July the 13th. So that'll be my big live for the month of July. I will be posting some things in the group all throughout the month. I'll be sharing my work that I'm doing over the 31-day challenge. But on the 31st, there will be a live video over on YouTube. I'm making it private just for the members of this group, even though it's being shown on YouTube. I'll make it public later, but I'm just saving it for you guys right now. But the one thing that you can do, you are welcome to invite anybody that you want to who might not be in the group, as long as they're interested in watercolor landscapes. You're welcome to share the YouTube link with anybody that you want, and of course invite them to the group. Think that they would enjoy being here. So there's an event here in the group for that live coming up on July the 13th, and so definitely check out the event link. Click to let me know that you're going to be there, and there's also a link to the video itself. You could go ahead and click on that right now, and it will send you a notification to let you know when the video is about to start and all that good stuff. So thank you so much, everybody. I thank you for being here. Next week will be the last in the color series. I'm going to cover the greens that I have on my palette, and we'll have a whole new demo next week. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.